Welcome to the Published and Paid podcast, where we share book, business, leadership, and life lessons in 20 minutes or less to help you build a thought leadership brand and business. My name is Jasmine Womack. I'm a former middle school language arts teacher turned seven-figure entrepreneur, and I am glad that you are here. Let's get started. Welcome back to another wonderful episode of the Published and Paid podcast, where we discuss all things publishing your intellectual property and getting paid for it, as well as leadership, business, and life lessons. My name is Jasmine Womack, and I am your host for today. And today, we're talking about increasing your self-discipline and your self-efficacy. And so I wanted to pull some definitions up to make sure that I was articulating this in a way in which it was going to make the most amount of sense. And I did a quick Google search, right? And self-efficacy is an individual's belief, is defined as an individual's belief in his or her capacity to execute the behaviors necessary to produce specific performance attainments. And self-discipline is the ability to control yourself and work hard or behave in a certain way without being told to do so. Two of the keys that are absolutely necessary for success are self-discipline and self-efficacy. You've got to believe in yourself. You've got to believe in your ability to accomplish the thing that you say that you want to accomplish. And then you've got to be disciplined enough to control yourself and put in the actions that are going to help you accomplish your goal. I'm oftentimes asked, how did you develop discipline? And how did you create this sense of belief in yourself? And that's not to say that there aren't times in which my confidence wanes, because I believe that everybody has a moment where their confidence may not, be as strong as it may normally be. But at the end of the day, nobody can ever tell me I can't do something that I've set my mind out to do. I honestly don't know if that's because of the way that I was raised, or if it's just an innate ability to have that thing. But I've always been the type of person where whatever I set my mind to, if I decide that I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. I don't care about your opinion. I don't care about what you think. I don't care about what your limitation is. This is what I want to do. I'm going to figure out a way to make it happen. And so as I actually sat down and began to peel the layers of the onion back a bit and really get to the bottom of, what outside of the drive that already exists, like what helps me to have this level of discipline and have this level of self-efficacy, where I believe in my ability to do the thing that I say that I want to do. So one of the first things that I do, and I do this often, is that I oftentimes address my strengths and weaknesses. However, I don't look at it as like I'm sitting up thinking about, oh, what are my strengths? What am I good at? What am I not so great at? No, I'm just real with myself about where I am. Like for me, some people would consider it a weakness, but I don't like staying up late. I'm an early bird. I realize that it's easier for me to get up early than it is for me to stay up late. That's just it. That's just is what it is. So the things that I want to do need to fall within those hours in which I'm most alert. Now, my husband, he's a night owl. He can stay up all night. He doesn't like going to sleep. I like going to sleep. And I like going to sleep at a specific time every single day. And I like waking up at a certain time every single morning because I like to maximize my day and I like to control my time, right? But I know that about myself. I know that me trying to do some deep, intense thinking work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, it just is not going to go well. It's not going to go well. But I can get up at 5 a.m. and I can do some real deep work, especially when the house is quiet. I know that about myself. So you got to know your strengths and weaknesses. What flows for you? What doesn't flow for you? What feels good for you? What feels natural for you? Now, and what doesn't? Now, sometimes things that are good for us will challenge us, but that doesn't mean that, you shouldn't lean into it. Identify what your strengths and weaknesses are and align, your goals, align your ambitions with those areas of strength. And for those areas of weakness, determine, how you can operate in that space, or whether or not it's such a weakness where you need to find help, support, coaching, and guidance to navigate through it and grow out of it. You also want to make sure that you have clear goals and a plan of execution. It's difficult for anyone to have discipline and belief if they don't even know where they're going, if they don't understand what their outcome is, and if they don't have a surefire plan to execute it. Case in point, I'm in school right now working on my doctorate. I had some credits that transferred over from another degree. So I'm actually halfway through the program because of my credits that transferred. But in order for those credits to remain valid, I've got to finish by a certain time. Now, it's one thing to know, Jasmine, you've got to finish this by a certain time, or else they're going to add an additional year of electives onto your journey. It's one thing to know that and move forward with that knowledge versus saying, okay, I've got to be done by this date. This is my final year of coursework. And this is what I'm going to do every single day in order to accomplish this goal. And then having the discipline to actually stick to it, having the conviction to tell other people, no, I'm not going to do that. I can't do that because I'm working on this during this time. So, you have to have your goals and a clear plan to execute. It's one thing to actually set a goal, but it's another thing to actually identify your goal, where you want to be, and then do a backwards planning strategy in order to implement, in order to create or to determine the exact steps that you're going to do that you're going to take every single day in order to accomplish that goal. And also being willing to stick to the plan that you set for yourself. That's the thing. And when you are setting the plan, when you have to stick to the plan that you set for yourself in order to accomplish your goal, you've got to be willing to tell people no. There are going to be things, there are going to be events, there are going to be circumstances. You've got to determine, is this what's going on right here during this time? Like, you've got to protect your time where you are intentionally and focused working on that thing. So like for me, just going back to it, because this is an active goal that I'm working on right now, from 8 to 10 p.m., that's my time to do my homework. That's my time. So if I need to go to 11, I go to 11, right? But that is my time. So I make sure that dinner's ready. I make sure that the kids are in the bed, in the tub, they're dressed for bed. They have their evening time. But at 8 p.m., at a very minimum, 8 to 10 every single night, I'm locked in. We're going to have, I make sure I spend my time with them and stuff before then. But 8 to 10, that has to be my time. Now, there are sometimes things happen, like both of my children are in extracurricular activities. Sometimes the husband might want to do some things. And so I try to make sure that we do it before or after. But that is my time. And like last night, we were, up a little bit late, so I got thrown off. So that I put my time back 9 to 11. 9 to 11 was my time. I was dedicated and determined to get in my 2 hours no matter what. Okay? So you've got to have your clear goals, and you've got to have a plan of execution, and you've got to be willing to stick to it, which actually takes me to my next point. You've got to practice at it every single day. When you want to increase your discipline, when you want to increase your self-efficacy and your belief, it is actually being able to accomplish things helps to build your confidence in the thing. You become more confident in yourself when you stick to the things that you say that you're going to do for yourself. If you always quit, or if you find yourself in the middle turning away or changing things, then when it comes to that thing, you're not going to have as much confidence. It might not be business. It could be your health. When you have some momentum for a period of time and then you fall off, you stop exercising, you start eating whatever, and you just stay there. No, you've got to get back on. I don't care how many times you fall off. Get back on it. Get back on it and practice at it every single day. And over time, because you're going to come to a point where you're like, okay, do I really want this or not? Am I going to stay on this merry-go-round of, being on it, falling off, being on it, falling off, or am I going to really do what it takes? At some point in time, the light bulb is going to go off. It's going to click and you have a decision to make. But if you're not practicing at it every day, you're not going to ever come to that point where you have to make the decision to be committed to the thing. Practice at it every single day. This is where, even when I say with business, practice at it every day. I don't care if it's 15 minutes, if it's 20 minutes. You've got to develop the muscle. Sometimes things are very busy for me. And I'm like, I don't know if I have time to exercise. Or I'm really tired. I really just want to rest. If I rest, please believe when I get up, I don't care what I do. I'm going to stretch. I'm going to do a small walk around the neighborhood. I'm going to do something every single day. It might not be as intense or as long as I normally do it, but me even taking that 1% and doing just a little bit reaffirms the commitment that I've made to myself. When you practice at something every single day, you're reaffirming and you're recommitting to do the thing. And it's rewiring your brain. So practice at it every day. Okay? Now, it's so difficult to do things when you feel like you're on a one-man or one-woman's island. So this is why having support and community is so vital to growth. Whether it's an accountability partner, whether you join a program, a coaching community, it's so important to make sure that you surround yourself with people who are doing some of the same things and who are going in the same or similar direction that you want to go in. These are the people that can offer encouragement during your challenging times, as if you share and let folks know what's going on. These are the people that can give you some feedback, give you some suggestions, and then just serve as some motivation, an extra dose of motivation when you need it. And last but not least, show yourself some grace. I believe that many of us are way too hard on ourselves. And it could be because of expectations that we've had growing up. Every day won't be perfect, and you won't always be successful every single day. But this is where you show yourself some grace. You reaffirm your commitment to yourself. You're not hard on yourself, but you understand that it's a journey, and every day is part of the journey. And every single day that you say yes to doing something that's going to put you closer, yes to doing something that's going to help increase your self-discipline, yes to doing something that's going to increase your self-efficacy, you are saying yes to accomplishing your goals and moving and turning and developing into that person that you desire to be. I would really love to hear your thoughts about this. Shoot us an email at hello@jasminewomack.com. Put the episode, this is episode 24, in the subject heading so that we know what you're talking about. And definitely come and listen to this over again. Share it with someone else and leave a review. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn at the Jasmine Womack. And if you are ready to take your life and business to the next level, I invite you to join us at the Published and Paid Live Experience. You can get all the details at www.publishedandpaidlive.com. Until next time, peace, love, and impact.